Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I would like to talk about the Primaris Marines. Now it seems that you're labelled as either a Primaris fan or you absolutely hate Primaris Marines, which I don't think is really right. I love Primaris Marines, but that doesn't mean there's some doubts that I don't have about Primaris Marines. There's some things I really dislike about them, and I think some of the things I dislike about them joins onto other people's dislikes and makes them really not want to start a Primaris force. So I just want to explore that a little bit, maybe talk about how we can potentially fix that and bring us all together as Space Marine fans, because at the end of the day, that's what we are. We are fans of Space Marines. We are brothers in arms. We want to purge the enemies of the Imperium together. So let's jump in and let's have a little talk. Now, the first topic I think we should discuss is the story of how the Primaris Marine came about, because this is always on everyone's lips. People feel like it was too rushed, it was pushed upon us, and they basically just came out of nowhere to save the day. I have to absolutely 100% agree. It did come out of nowhere. They did just sprang out the ground and like, here we are here to save the Imperium, because of course, with the launch of 8th edition and the story moving forward, there was a brand new phase of 40k. The Great Rift happened. Abaddon was about to conquer the galaxy. Guilliman came back, and of course, when Guilliman came back, he sprang the Primaris Marines upon us, which he had planned for thousands of years. Cole had massive labs underneath the sands of Mars, and he was filled full of Primaris Marines, and in the dire need, these chaps came out and they saved everyone right at the end. Yes, that is very rushed. It was very bizarre to see, especially when there was no lead up, no other hints to it at all, and it just happened. I can completely agree where people dislike that factor of the story. But what I have to say about that is that there is now authors out there trying to amend that in certain situations. Now, I'm a person that disliked the story at the start. I really did. I was like, oh my god, I hate the story, but I love the Marines. Maybe GW could have just said, hey, these guys are just like true scale Marines now. We're moving it up and bringing you new models. Maybe that would have gone down a little bit better. But the more I read from the authors and the story, I think the more they're doing it justice to the Primaris story arc. Now, you have things like Primaris Marines go into certain chapters that are not welcoming them. You have inner conflicts of actually Primaris Marines themselves not feeling welcome in the era that they've woken up in, because a lot of these Marines were taken back thousands and thousands of years ago, put into stasis to be chopped up and stuff, and they were from a certain era where things were done differently, where regimes were looked, well, I say regime, the Imperium was looked at and did things type of differently, and now they've come back into this setting and they don't feel at home. And I can kind of connect with that character a little bit more and stuff like that. So I do think the authors are slowly trying to change the perception of the Primaris. Not like they just sprang out the ground and everything was great and everything was normal. They are trying to add some type of character and backstory to that Marine. Now, one of my main concerns, and I think a lot of people share this, is the characteristic of the Primaris Marine, especially on the tabletop. And what I mean by that is that they kind of have no personality. Everyone just looks like each other, painted a different colour. This was even said in a Primaris novel where Seth said, we're basically all just going to be different coloured Ultramarines. They actually stated that in the Black Library lore, and I actually thought that was a little bit of a joke at the time between the authors, just stating how really bland the Primaris are. Now, what we've had recently, we've had different codexes come out for the first founding chapters, and each one of them received a character. Yes, those characters did receive some funky customizations. You had for Cassaro Khan looking very cool. With those characters came an upgrade kit, which I applaud GW for, but I don't think it's gone far enough. Yes, you have little hands holding skulls, little chainsaws, and really stuff that matches that chapter. But when you compare stuff like, for example, the Ragnar Black Main box set, I know we've done a video about this recently, and you look at Ragnar. Ragnar is in there. He's a Primaris Marine. He's got all the wolf pelts on him. He's got all the runes, all the little teeth necklaces, everything that you expect from a Space Wolf, a really awesome looking Space Wolf model. Now, if you compare that to the Phobos Marines he has with him in that box set, there's nothing that really separates them from the Imperial Fist. I'm the first person to admit that the Imperial Fist are very, very bland when it comes to their armor. I know a lot of people will laugh at that, but we are basically, us and the Ultramarines are like the blandest chapters. We just wear our armor and that's it. You know, yes, we may have a little bit of like skull here and there and stuff, but when you compare us to like the Space Wolves or the Blood Angels, the Dark Angels, even the Black Templars and stuff like that, we really do not stand out in a crowd. We're just at the guys at the back going, hello, Emperor, yes, we'll do the job, we'll just get it done and stuff like that. When you have these chapters like the Space Wolves, which have all these fur, which give them their character, their personality, and then you put the models out to people as Primaris and they're just bland like the Imperial Fist, it really makes people think, what's the point of even buying these? It's just a different coloured Imperial Fist / Ultramarine I'm going to be paying for my force. If you compare, for example, right, this is the perfect example. When they released the Death Company for Primaris, if you look at the Death Company Marines for the Primaris, I'll try and get it up on the screen right now in the background, and you compare those to the Firstborn Marines Death Company, look how much character you have in the Firstborn Marines to the Primaris Death Company Marines. It's just on a whole different level of awesome coolness when you compare those models. And this is the thing that really, I think GW should have planned for. Yes, you can have that argument saying you can't really put out a full range within a first couple of years. Maybe what they're trying to do is put down the foundations of addressing every type of unit, fast attacks, speeders, bikes, all that kind of stuff before they start going in and personalizing different things. But I personally think from my standpoint, if they had plans to redo this entire Space Marine force as a Primaris, I think those plans should have been in place to be released along with the first variants of those Primaris Marines, because that's what people love to do. That's what us hobbyists love to do. We love to make our armies stand out. We like to make them look awesome on the tabletop. That is one of the core essence of our hobbying. Now, that doesn't mean you can't kit bash. I completely agree. Of course you can kit bash. But my standpoint is maybe GW should have supplied us with more bits, more tools to go along with these Primaris Marines rather than us going out and doing it for them. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the actual rules between Primaris and Firstborn Marines on the tabletop, because I think this is where the biggest split comes in. This is what really makes us choose sides and stuff, and I don't think it's needed at all, because you have one simple thing that really changes the Marine from the Primaris Marine, and that is the keyword Primaris Marine. If you look on some of the vehicles, Primaris Marines can't get in. You can't get Primaris in Land Raiders, Rhinos, well, all of the flyers bar the Thunderhawk and the Stormbird. But, you know, if you're going to be shelling out that much money, I don't think you really care about what your guys can get into. And this is where the real debate comes down to. Now, of course, there is stuff which is called rules in the tabletop, balance and stuff like that. So I can kind of understand from that viewpoint where they don't want people to get in. But I think there's more down to that. I think it's more down to GW wanting to sell more models. They want to sell things like the Executioner tank, the Reporter tanks, the Impulsor tanks, because those are new vehicles and they want to make more revenue. I think that's what the main thing is down to. Now, I'm not stating or like bringing GW down for wanting to make money, because at the end of the day, GW is a business. They want to make money. From my personal standpoint is that I would gladly buy an Executioner tank, an Impulsor tank, a Reporter tank. I bought all of them, and I'd also buy a Land Raider, a Rhino and stuff like that for my force, just as long as my Primaris can get into them, because I think as a Space Marine player, I want all the arsenal of weapons in my force. Now, what you're making me do, as I'm making a full Primaris force, I'm thinking to myself, I really love Land Raiders, but there's really no point of me having a Land Raider. I can't put any of my troops in Land Raiders or anything like that, unless you want me to buy some Firstborn Marines. But the problem is that you haven't really been showing that much love to the Firstborn Marines. So do I really want to go out and start buying some models which I personally think you're not going to be giving any love to? I really think they could correct this by just changing the key word from the Primaris Marine just to Marine. and then we can all ride in each other's gear and have some fun. I think that would really boost not only the sales for Space Marine, but also the fandom as well, saying, oh yes, Primaris can go in Land Raiders now. Yes, I can get some of my old gear out. I can go out and buy a Land Raider and stuff. I think that would bring us together a lot more, and I think it would be a really, really good thing for GW to pursue. Alright chaps, I'm just going to leave the video there, but before I go, I just want to say, before you start leaving comments and everything like that, let's try and be civil to each other, because I know this can bring up a little bit of attention. Let's respect each other's opinions. There's no point in going in and go, yeah, Primaris suck, lol, 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 lol. That doesn't really bring any, any weight to the argument. If someone likes Primaris Marines, respect that comment. If someone hates Primaris Marines and they don't want to go with it, respect that comment. There's no point in losing it on each other, because as I stated at the start of the video, we are all brothers. We are all we're not Primaris Marines. We are all Space Marines at the end of the day. We're all here to serve the Emperor and purge in the Imperium's glorious name. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day. See you now, and bye-bye.